All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. As everyone in this room knows, my name is Cassandra Pugh. I am a second-year Delta Fellow, and thank you for being here for my Fall 2016 board presentations. I'd like to start off with a poem by Karen Adams, and if you pull out my handout, you can follow along with me if you would like. It's called Water of Life. Water from the earth soothes the dry, thirsty spirit, flows like holy love. Oh. Sorry.
Did you put the USB in?
No.
From the...
It's okay, I'll just click my computer.
Okay.
Thank you, though. So, this past fall, I have been learning how to keep my head afloat and to stay above water. If you were here for my last board presentation, you know that I was struggling with the prioritization of self-care. Now, it's been a long and hard journey, but I'm here standing before you today to say that it has been well worth it. And I think that I have made huge strides in my personal self-care. I've had once weekly counseling sessions as a huge part to understand the causation in my life. I am beginning to plunge down deep below the water's surface to understand what makes me tick, and also what I can do to be the best me. One of the ways I've practiced self-care is by using a word that all toddlers know, and that's how to say no. Now, if you know me, which most of you do, you know that I am on the extreme end of the extroverted spectrum. Now, with that said, it seems a little bit counterintuitive that I would say no to a lot of social situations. But lately, I've had to do just that because I've had a lot of healing in a long time, which is very new for me. So, one of the things that I've done that has dive deep into the introverted side that I didn't even know that I had was to take a 2-week vacation to the East Coast all by myself. This was a great time of peace and an opportunity for me to reset, to be on my own schedule and not have to worry about anyone else's agenda. But I feel like I've come back ready with a clear mind and heart to be able to chip away at my part of the rock at abolishing relational, economic, and spiritual poverty. So I'm very glad to be back. Now, I've had the awesome opportunity to teach new classes this semester at training camp. I've taught a lot of more heartfelt classes. I wanted to be able to do that because I realized over the past semesters that the classes that I were teaching just weren't digging deep into the lives of the leaders. I felt like I was missing something, missing part of a relationship that I felt that others that were in training camp had. So I spoke with Jen about how I could connect more with the hearts and the mindsets. One of the things that she suggested was that I could be in charge of teaching parent lessons. I had my reservations with whether or not teaching parent classes would be worthwhile, but it actually proved to be so. Parent classes are based off of a parent survey, and it's a testing tool that we take to see where our leaders are when they first start the program. It focuses on understanding and developing behavioral attributes and specific mindsets. The lessons I've taught have ranged in themes from one's own self-concept to self-assessment. And again, I was a little weary with whether or not this would be a good tool. However, after my first class, I heard that 2 leaders had actually gone home that weekend and they had used some of the tools they had learned in my class. The way that came about was we often have visitors in training camp. And so a few of our leaders were removed and they were asked, what are you learning? They mentioned the self-assessment class and they talked about how they used those tools with their families to help them with a difficult situation. So I knew right then I was beginning to see the fruit of my labor. Now, one of the hardest realizations that I've had this fall is that life is not promised to anyone. It's very momentary and quite fleeting. Terrence Ashley was one of the bright shining stars in our last training camp class. And honestly, he was one of the nicest leaders I had ever met. His life tragically came to an end, and it was quite hard for all of us. It threatened to take the last win that we had in ourselves out when we found out that he had passed. But honestly, if I think about the fall, I feel like the overarching theme in my life was death. After Terrence passed, a week later, my Aunt Paula, my favorite human on the face of this earth, the person who showed me how to love selflessly, also passed. A few weeks after that, there was a person who was killed just a few doors down from my home. And if you've been here for a while, then you've probably met LaShawn. And LaShawn has a wonderful phrase that I absolutely love. And she often says, "But God." Now, with so much tragedy, I couldn't have gone through what I've gone through if it hadn't been for God. I feel that He wants me to be whole and He wants me to be well. And I was blessed with already having self-care practices in place so that as I felt that I was sinking, people were able to pull me out and help me stand on dry land. And for that, I will be ever, forever grateful. Now, one of the exciting new roles that I have is I've joined the coaching team, but I've joined the coaching team to help logistically plan family gatherings. Hospitality is very important to me, and I like to do things with excellence. And so I feel like it's been a good fit to be a part of this team. One of the first things that I was tasked with was streamlining family gathering meals, which was fun because I like to present things well for people. Now, one of the first things that I did to tackle this was to start with serving food. Now, one of the reasons why we do this is not just to stay within budget, but we also do this because we want to make sure that there's enough food for everyone to go around, and we also want to make sure that everyone feels as though they're taken care of. I was originally tasked with not just streamlining the logistics of family gathering, but the possibility of working with childcare. Now, before I came to the fellowship, I had worked as a children's pastor, and a little bit that I had seen of the childcare process that was going on with family gathering, I felt like it might be too much of an undertaking for me to do both things. You see, when it comes to my planning family gathering, I have one day a week that I do this, and that's Thursday, and I have all day to be able to plan and then execute family gatherings. So I was a little trepidatious with wondering whether or not I could do childcare. So what I asked Gigi is if I could have 2 family gatherings where I could just observe and see what was going on with childcare, and then we could reconvene after that point. Once we did that, she and I both agreed that it would be too much of a logistical undertaking for me to take care of both of those things right now. But I actually have started to implement a few new policies and procedures for the childcare workers. One of the things that I've done is I've created an info sheet that goes to them every week, and it tells them exactly what they have to eat, what goes to what child, so on and so forth. And I've also revamped the menu so that the adults can feel well fed that are childcare workers, and the kids can have a more well-balanced meal. Now, going forward, one of the things that I'm going to help with, well, I can't do the whole undertaking of childcare. I can help them with new policies and procedures for training, who to look for as they hire new people. I'm also going to redesign the area that they have the children in because the ages are so varied and the numbers are so large. We want to make sure that our kids have a fun, safe environment where they can come and learn and grow when they're with us. As I look forward to my final trimester here in the fellowship, I am excited about all of the opportunities that God is putting before me. And one of the things that I voiced in my last boards was the realization that I am a communicator, and that also means that I need to be able to exercise that muscle a bit with teaching more and more speaking opportunities. So I'm really excited to say that with that, Greg Hall and I are going to be working on a chapel series, and in that series we are going to be co-teaching together. So I'm looking forward to that time. I'm also going to get an opportunity to teach at family gatherings and other things. Jen and I have been talking about the possibility of getting my foot in the door to help teach foundation classes, which I'm excited about, and a lot of cool ideas that I can't quite share with you yet. This has been a very trying time. I can't say that it hasn't. But what I'm most excited about is I finally feel like I'm able to breathe again and that my feet are on dry land. Thank you guys for being here.